Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid, just come down to Bitcoin, big old CoinsKid crew. So right now, major level resistance for Bitcoin is this here. You see this level here? This is resistance, resistance, resistance. So personally, what I was doing yesterday, I actually went long off that low just there because I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in here and potentially thought that this correction was done. And right now I was building some longs down there with my stop loss on that low. So when this has come down, I've actually got stopped out. Okay, I know a lot of people are adding long stops down there, and potentially, you know, that's a really good area, like I said to you, to add your stops down there. But for me right now, I think we're on a cusp of either a breakdown or a breakout. That's how decisive it is. I think over the next couple of days here, you know, we do need to keep on the DXY as well. So like I said to you, you don't win every single trade. This is why you always apply stops. Okay, so no one's an absolute 100% winning master, but just here is a very, very, very strong level of resistance. Look at this. Okay, so that's key resistance. I mean, look at that. It goes all the way back to there, doesn't it? Where is that? August. You've got a little bit of support and resistance just there, but right now that is key resistance. Okay, so I think personally what we might be on the cusp of forming here is a massive ascending triangle, okay, which is a very bullish pattern. You know, I'm not perma bullish, just technicals and data what I'm looking at. There obviously is invalidation of this, but right now potentially you got this low, this is resistance, okay, then you put another low on this trend line, and then boom, you got another high running into resistance, failing to get above it, and then boom, you've come back down. So technically what we do need to see going forward for Bitcoin over the next few days here, you know, we've got 4 hours, it's a 4 hour candle, so we're looking at 2 hours 28. We definitely need to see Bitcoin maintain this ascending level support, in my opinion, because if we don't, it means that obviously you're going to roll and you're looking for a deeper correction back down to that low than we anticipate off this high. So this is something we'll keep an eye on, okay, because at the moment what you're doing, this is the high, okay, see this high just there, and that is your low down there that we put in on the 22nd of September. So right now we're retracing to it, okay, and everyone's getting really scared and jumping up and down, screaming bear market, screaming 10k, 15k, 40k, all that. But all we're doing is basically we got a low just there, which was a higher low than this, okay. So at the moment we're kind of breaking up and we're retracing for the continuation of this break. So here's a high, here's a higher low, and we're looking at trying to get up and make a higher high than the one we put up just there, which was in August. And if you start to see that, like I've said to you, what you've got is a high, higher low, higher high, because I think that if you take this red line out here, this you know, falling wedge, I think your minimal target is this high with the follow through to this yellow line just there, around about 28k, which is this cluster of resistance right there. So you know, I can't be too bearish just because you're retracing, okay. Obviously if you do start to cascade and fall through key levels of support right now in this retracement that Bitcoin's going through, then yeah, you know, you've got to be bearish and you've got an outlook to the downside. But at the moment you have to pay attention to the data, and the data is telling us that that's your second higher low, and right now you're coming up and you're looking to retrace to it, hold it as support for the continuation of this trend. So for me, I always tell you, you know, identify compression leading to expansion. So right now we've got this potential compression of this potential large ascending triangle. If we do something like this over the next few days, you know, and coil up with this ascending level support, we're going to get a break. And if we start to see something like that, you know, it's going to be extremely bullish here for crypto going forward. You know, the opposite of that is if we start to come down right now, because at the moment you can see we're retracing to the 0.5 fib, you know, we're not necessarily wicked off the golden ratio, which is always a normal level of support for Bitcoin, but it doesn't mean it has to. But right now you could say, okay, well, if we come down, we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, and we've got that big 5 just there, and if we start to come back up, you've got your correction that's in right now, and you're just holding this ascending level of support, okay. So you know, personally I'm still long. You know, I got stopped out on this little trade, call it scalp trading, a little bit of a scalp trade there, looking for a nice little opportunity to come up, but just there I'm still long off there, I'm still long off there, you know, because this is what you do. So all my stops, my major stop is down here, because I think, you know, like I said to you when we was coming up here, I said at this point, if I see crypto, if I see Bitcoin falling below this low, the 1 fib at 18167, I will, you know, jump ship basically, because I think you're confirming this an impulsive move to the downside, and what you've got here is not necessarily you know, some kind of expanded leading diagonal basically with some kind of large ABC correction that bottomed here. It would indicate that this is potentially impulsive corrective, and you're looking at another impulsive move down, and it may potentially sweep this low and go as low as the 1618 down there at 16874, you know. And if it does that, I'm out, and I'll just wait for it to sort of find its floor on the bottom of the structure. But at the minute I can't ignore that the structure and the potential bottom that you're creating here, okay, that you've got this low, you've got this high, you've got a high low at the moment. So what we need to see is a structure follow through of this potential breakout by coiling up here, price compression leading to expansion, get the break, and it's confirming to me that this is your low right now. And what you've got is some kind of Adam, some kind of eve where you're coming up like that, you know, potentially like that over the next few months here leading into December, and you're carving out a large bottom down here for Bitcoin, okay? Possibly, who knows? No one's got a crystal ball, have they? You know, it's all about support and resistance, you know. So people telling you that you're 100% going to do this and 100% going to do that, you know, it's lies. No one can tell you that. It's all about support and resistance. Like I always say to you, you've just got to come to your charts. You've got to drop your fibs on. You've got to drop your lines on. So you can see right now, major level of resistance just there. Okay, we get through that. I think that's quite a nice little bullish statement from Bitcoin. If we lose this low, it's a very bearish statement from Bitcoin. So in a minute, I'm not looking to trade at the moment. I'm going to wait for a little structure down here to start to carve out. If we get some kind of ascending triangle down here over the next couple of days or so, and we start to do something like that, then I think, yeah, okay, I'll build some long positions with my stop down there, because at the minute this could just be free falling. Okay, so build some long positions, looking for structure of an ascending triangle potentially on this level of support just there, of a large ascending triangle like this we're coiling up inside of. We start to see that, I would, you know, have to get really confident about the bottom being in right here, okay, and the fact that we're going to come up, break this and take it out, and we're on a weekly 20 right there. So, you know, there is an inverse correlation with the DXY, so please keep an eye out for that at the moment, okay, on the DXY. If you do start to see the DXY coming back down, then, you know, Bitcoin will eventually start to play catch up in the opposite direction right there. So I hope you understand that update. You know, all this I talk about is tradable right now. You know, it's up to you. You could build some long positions at this position, you know, with your stop right there on that low. It's entirely up to you, but personally I'm going to wait and find some structure, because I did think that the bottom was in just there, but it looks as though this might be some kind of expanded flat correction like this. Okay, so what we've got is a 1, a 2, this is a 3, and then we went through an ABC wave 4, whether this A, B wave just there made a lower low than that, so that's some kind of expanded flat correction, and right now you've had your final 5th wave potentially that's done. But what we need to see right there is something like this, okay, an ascending triangle over the next few days, coil up, hold this ascending level support, coil up, and then boom, start to come back up. We get that, you know, look at that structure right there. You got that big level of resistance with your points of contact, points of contact, points of contact. You've got your support, your support. Like I always said to you, always try and find 3 support, 1, 2, 3, and this could be the last support before we start to come up and break out of this potential ascending triangle, okay, which is effectively just a smaller version than the large ascending triangle that we're potentially carving out over a long period of time, which is a bottoming structure. Do you understand? So, you know, I wish everyone the utmost luck, but it's all about support and resistance right now. Lose this low, start to sweep this and start to turn that into resistance. I do think you're going to come back down, you're going to retrace relatively deeply, lose a 1 fib. Your minimal target is a 1272 down here on this green line, and I think if you do start to do that, you're going to sweep these lows, aren't you? And it's not going to indicate that the low's in right now. So, you know, I wish everyone the utmost luck. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned, and thank you for your support, and thank you for all the really nice comments and the feedback that I get on the videos as well, and for following me on Twitter. Thank you. Bye bye.